Mike Tyson is 58 years old now. He's worth an estimated $10 million. He owns a cannabis company called Tyson 2. He does podcasts and acting. He lives modestly. No mansions. No exotic car collections. No Bengal tigers. He's learned financial discipline the hard way. But when you ask Mike about the moment that humbled him more than any knockout ever could, he talks about the 1st of August, 2003. The day he walked into a bankruptcy court and admitted to the world that despite earning over $300 million during his boxing career, he was broke. Completely broke. With $23 million in debt. That was the lowest point of my life, Mike has said. Not losing to Douglas. Not the ear bite. Not going to prison. Filing for bankruptcy. Standing in front of a judge and admitting I had nothing left. That I'd lost everything. Every mansion. Every car. Every dollar. It destroyed me. And destroyed. And destroyed me. Today, Mike knows exactly how it happened. Don King stole over $100 million. Divorces cost him tens of millions more. Legal fees drained millions. But the biggest problem was Mike himself. The spending. The lifestyle. The excess. I was making $30 million a fight and spending $40 million, Mike has admitted. I had 7 mansions, 38 cars, 4 Bengal tigers. I was spending $400,000 a month just on expenses, and I thought the money would never run out. But it did. And when it did, I lost everything. What happens when a kid from the streets suddenly has hundreds of millions of dollars and no one to guide him? What happens when the people around you are stealing while you're spending? The answer was written in a bankruptcy filing on the 1st of August 2003, and in the empty bank accounts, Mike stared at in disbelief. Before the mansions, before the millions, before the bankruptcy, Mike Tyson was a kid from Brownsville, Brooklyn, with nothing. Mike had been arrested dozens of times by age 13 for robbery and assault. He was heading for prison or death, but Cus D'Amato saved him. Cus took Mike to Catskill, New York, became his legal guardian, and trained him in boxing. Cus promised Mike he'd be the youngest heavyweight champion in history, and Cus promised Mike something else: wealth beyond his imagination. You're going to make millions, Cus told Mike, but you have to be smart with it. You have to save it. You have to invest it. Money can disappear faster than you think. Mike heard the words, but he didn't understand them. Not yet. On the 22nd of November 1986, at 20 years old, Mike became the youngest heavyweight champion in history by destroying Trevor Berbick. The purse was $1.5 million. More money than Mike had ever imagined. But Cus had died a year earlier. And without Cus there to guide Mike financially, Mike was vulnerable. Jim Jacobs and Bill Caton managed Mike's money carefully at first. But when Jacobs died in 1988 and Don King took control, everything changed. King convinced Mike that Caton was stealing from him. Mike fired Caton, and Don King took total control of Mike's finances. That was the beginning of the end. From 1,987 to 1,990, Mike Tyson became the highest-paid athlete in the world. In 1987, he made $26.5 million from fights against James Smith, Pinklon Thomas, Tony Tucker, and Tyrell Biggs. In June 1988, he made over $20 million for destroying Michael Spinks in 91 seconds. The money was pouring in faster than Mike could count it, and Mike started spending. He bought his first mansion in New Jersey, then another in Ohio, then another in Connecticut. He bought Bentleys, Ferraris, Rolls-Royces. He bought jewelry, watches, chains. He started traveling with an entourage of 50 people, all on his payroll. Trainers, bodyguards, friends, hangers-on. Everyone had their hand out, and Mike paid for everything. I thought the money would never stop, Mike has said. I was making tens of millions a year. I thought I was rich forever. But the spending was already outpacing the income. Mike's accountants warned him, but Mike didn't listen, and the people around Mike, especially Don King, weren't helping. They were stealing. In February 1990, Mike lost to Buster Douglas. But even in defeat, Mike made $24 million for the rematch that never happened. In 1991, Mike made millions more fighting Razor Ruddock twice, and then came prison. From March 1992 to March 1995, Mike spent 3 years in the Indiana Youth Center. No income, no fights, but the expenses kept going. The mansions, the cars, the entourage, the bills kept coming, and Mike's fortune started to bleed. When Mike was released from prison on the 25th of March 1995, Don King had a plan: massive comeback fights, pay-per-view records, and the biggest paychecks in boxing history. On the 19th of August 1995, Mike fought Peter McNeely. The fight lasted 89 seconds, but it generated $96 million in pay-per-view revenue. Mike's purse was reported at $25 million, but after Don King took his cut after expenses, Mike saw maybe $10 million. In September 1995, Mike fought Frank Bruno and made $30 million. In March 1996, he fought Bruce Seldon and made $30 million. And in November 1996, Mike fought Evander Holyfield for the WBA heavyweight title. The fight generated over $100 million in revenue. Mike's purse was $30 million. But again, after King's cut and expenses, Mike saw far less. In June 1997, Mike fought Holyfield again, the infamous earbite fight. Despite the disqualification, Mike still made $30 million. But by this point, Mike was spending faster than ever. In 1996 alone, Mike's expenses were documented at over $4 million. Mansions, cars, jewelry, tigers, entourage, legal fees from the earbite lawsuit, divorce from Monica Turner. The money was flowing out as fast as it flowed in, and Mike didn't notice or didn't care. "I was making $30 million a fight," Mike has said. "I thought I was set for life. I didn't realize Don King was stealing half of it, and I was spending the other half on stupid stuff." By the late 1990 seconds, Mike Tyson's lifestyle had reached levels of excess that were almost incomprehensible. He owned 7 mansions, a 21-room estate in Connecticut with gold-plated fixtures, a 10,000-square-foot mansion in Ohio, a sprawling property in Maryland, a Las Vegas compound. Each property cost hundreds of thousands in annual maintenance, property taxes, and staff. Mike owned 38 cars. The collection included multiple Bentleys, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Rolls-Royces. He had motorcycles. He had a $400,000 pigeon collection. And most famously, he owned 4 Bengal tigers. Each tiger cost $70,000 to purchase, and each required $4,000 per month in care, food, and a full-time trainer. Mike also had a $180,000 watch collection and over $7 million in jewelry. But the real drain was the monthly expenses. Mike's accountants documented that he was spending approximately $400,000 per month. That's nearly $5 million per year just to maintain his lifestyle. The mansions alone cost over $200,000 per month in mortgages, taxes, utilities, and staff. Mike had over 200 people on his payroll: bodyguards, trainers, drivers, cooks, house staff, friends who did nothing but hang around. Everyone was getting paid, and Mike was footing the bill for all of it. "I didn't know how to say no," Mike has said. "Everyone wanted something, and I gave it to them. I thought that's what rich people did." While Mike was spending $400,000 per month, he was also bleeding money from 3 other sources. First, Don King. As documented in multiple lawsuits, King systematically stole from Mike for over a decade. King took inflated promotional fees. He charged Mike for expenses that didn't exist. He paid himself bonuses from Mike's purses. Conservative estimates put the amount King stole at over $100 million. Second, divorces. Mike's marriage to Robin Givens ended in 1989 with a settlement. His marriage to Monica Turner ended in 2003 with a settlement reportedly over $10 million. Third, legal fees. Mike's rape trial in 1992 cost millions in legal fees. The earbite lawsuit from Evander Holyfield was settled for an undisclosed amount rumored to be in the millions. Assault cases, traffic violations, tax issues. Mike's legal bills were constant and enormous. By 2002, Mike was in serious financial trouble. He fought Lennox Lewis in June 2002 and made $17 million. It was one of his biggest purses, but the money was gone within 6 months. Taxes, debts, expenses, legal fees, and still, the spending continued. Mike's accountants begged him to cut expenses, to sell the mansions, to fire the entourage. But Mike ignored them. "I didn't want to believe it," Mike has said. "I didn't want to admit I was running out of money, so I just kept spending and hoping it would work out." On the 1st of August 2003, Mike Tyson filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in federal court. The filing listed $23 million in debts. Mike owed the IRS $13 million in back taxes. He owed British tax authorities $4 million. He owed creditors another $6 million. The filing detailed Mike's financial collapse in brutal detail. 7 mansions, most mortgaged to the hilt, many in foreclosure. 38 cars, many leased or financed. Jewelry and watches worth millions, all pledged as collateral for loans. The Bengal tigers had already been rehomed because Mike couldn't afford to keep them. The entourage had been let go. The lifestyle of excess was over. Mike Tyson, who had earned over $300 million in his career, was officially broke. The media coverage was brutal. Headlines around the world screamed, "Mike Tyson bankrupt. From $300 million to zero. The fastest knockout. Mike's fortune." Mike was humiliated. He was 37 years old. He'd been the highest paid athlete in the world. And now, he had nothing. "I felt like a failure," Mike has said. "I'd made more money than most people see in 10 lifetimes. And I'd lost it all. I was ashamed, embarrassed, and I had no idea how to fix it." The bankruptcy judge ordered Mike to liquidate assets. The mansions were sold, most at a loss. The cars were repossessed. The jewelry was auctioned off. And Mike was left with almost nothing. Mike Tyson is 58 years old now. After filing for bankruptcy in 2003, Mike hit rock bottom. He was broke, depressed, addicted to drugs, and he had no income. So in 2005, he did the only thing he knew how to do. He fought again. On the 11th of June 2005, Mike fought Kevin McBride in Washington, D.C. The purse was $5 million. Mike needed the money. But Mike quit on his stool after 6 rounds. He retired from boxing that night. And for the first time in his life, Mike had to figure out how to make money without fighting. It took years. Mike got sober. He went to therapy. He started doing one-man shows. He appeared in movies like The Hangover. He launched a podcast. And in 2016, he launched Tyson 2, a cannabis company that's now worth millions. Today, Mike is worth an estimated $10 million. It's a fraction of what he should have, but it's his. And he's learned to manage it carefully. "I live modestly now," Mike has said. "I don't need mansions or tigers or 38 cars. I don't need 200 people on my payroll. I have a small team, people I trust, and I save money. I invest. I do the things Cus told me to do 40 years ago, but I was too young and stupid to listen." Mike also reflects on the bankruptcy with brutal honesty. "I deserve to go broke," Mike has said. "I was reckless with money. I trusted the wrong people. I spent like an idiot. Don King stole from me. But I let him. I enabled it. The bankruptcy was the wake-up call I needed. I just wish I'd woken up sooner. When the better 4 may be a 1. 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 When the better 4. The 1st of August, 2003. The day Mike Tyson filed for bankruptcy. The day he admitted he'd lost everything, despite earning over $300 million. That day didn't just mark Mike's financial collapse. It marked a lesson that resonates with anyone who's ever had money and lost it. Mike's bankruptcy wasn't just about Don King stealing $100 million, though that was part of it. It wasn't just about divorces and legal fees, though those were part of it too. It was about a kid from Brownsville who suddenly had hundreds of millions of dollars and no one to teach him how to manage it. It was about lifestyle excess. 7 mansions, 38 cars, 4 Bengal tigers, spending $400,000 per month. It was about saying yes to everyone and no to no one. And it was about ignoring the warnings until it was too late. The question that haunts Mike's legacy is simple. What would have happened if Cus D'Amato had lived? If Cus had been there to manage Mike's money, the way he'd managed Mike's boxing? Would Mike have saved and invested instead of spent and wasted? We'll never know, but we do know this. On the 1st of August 2003, Mike Tyson filed for bankruptcy with $23 million in debt. And it took him over a decade to rebuild. Here's the final question. If Mike had listened to Cus's advice about money, would he be worth $500 million today instead of $10 million? The answer is we'll never know. But we do know that the 1st of August 2003 was the day Mike Tyson lost everything. And the lesson he learned that day about money and discipline and saying no is the reason he'll never go broke again.